Two steaks are placed in front of you. One came from an animal that grazes, the other came from an animal that hunts. They look similar enough that without the labels, you might choose either one. Then you find out which is which, and your hand slows down. Can humans actually eat predator meat? Would it be dangerous, wrong, or simply unfamiliar? And there's another question people rarely ask out loud. Would it taste awful, or could it actually be surprisingly good? Predators have teeth, muscles, and flesh just like other animals, yet most of them never became a normal part of the human diet. Something kept hunters off the human menu. The question is what?
Walk through the meat aisle at a supermarket and notice what's missing. You rarely see a picture of the animal looking back at you. A cow becomes beef. A pig becomes pork. The face, the movement, even the fact that it was once alive can disappear behind a familiar word. The packaging does some of the emotional work for you. Predator meat is harder to separate from the predator itself. Say wolf, lion, or bear, and the animal remains part of the meal. The teeth are still there, so is the chase. Before the first bite, the food already feels different. Researchers who study the meat paradox have found that people may be less willing to eat meat when its animal origin is made more visible. Beef sounds like an ingredient. Cow flesh sounds like something happened. That difference is uncomfortable, but it matters. Most people think appetite begins with taste. Often, it starts much earlier, with a category learned so young that no one remembers learning it. Food, pet, pest, hunter, never dinner. None of this tells us whether predator meat tastes good, tastes bad, or should be eaten at all. It only shows that a label can change the meal before the meat itself changes. But language cannot be the whole explanation. Why did predators remain outside the food category for so long that even their names still make the idea of eating them feel wrong?
Now leave the supermarket and place two animals at the edge of a hungry camp. A deer spots the hunters and runs. A large predator might run too, but it might also stand its ground, defend a carcass, or turn the encounter into a fight. That difference changes the entire meal. Behavioral ecologists explain part of this through optimal foraging. The term sounds technical, but the decision was simple. How much food can we bring back, and what might it cost us to get it? A successful hunt was never just about putting an animal on the ground. It was about getting the meat back to camp without the hunter becoming part of the cost. Large predators often made that trade-off worse.
They were generally harder to find, fewer in number, dangerous when cornered, and already dependent on the animals below them in the food chain. The most powerful animal could also be the least reliable target. That is slightly humbling for humans. Survival did not reward the most impressive victory. It rewarded the meal the group could obtain again and again. The same preference later shaped domestication. Humans favored animals they could find, contain, breed, feed, and manage without starting a new battle every time they needed dinner. Power made predators impressive. Predictability made prey useful. But that still does not fully answer the question. Tuna hunt, sharks hunt, alligators hunt. Yet in some places, humans still put them on the menu. So if danger kept predators off the plate, why did some hunters become food, while others remained almost unthinkable?
Tuna and sharks finally forced the answer into the open. Yes, humans can eat some predators, but predator isn't a flavor, a safety label, or a moral judgment. The word only describes how an animal gets its food. It tells you nothing about whether the meat tastes good, whether a culture accepts it, or whether that particular animal is safe to eat. So why are large predators still missing from most menus? Because danger was only part of the equation. The animal also had to be common enough to find, practical enough to catch, and reliable enough to feed people again and again. Nets and predictable migration routes made some ocean predators a dependable food source. A lion, by contrast, was usually a rare and costly encounter. That's what the supermarket is really showing you. Not just what humans preferred to eat, but which human-animal relationships were reliable enough to become lasting food systems. Edible was never the same as dependable. And the next question is even stranger. Why did one predator, the wolf, end up beside the human campfire instead of over it?